Hey yo, what's up? Whoop whoop. It's your boy, Killer J, coming back with you with another edition of Whoops Up, Whoops Down, the Juggalo Movie Podcast, or whatever I want to call it today. And for today's episode, we're gonna get a review of Bong Joon-ho's newest film, Mickey 17. Really excited to talk about that film. Yeah, so that's what's on the dock for today's show. But before we get to that, let me give you some newsworthy stuff. Um, Next week I will be doing uh, and something a little new with Humble Among, where we're going to be reviewing Toxic Avenger. I'm going to try to have more people come on as guests talking about films and have them introduce films to me that I have never seen. And Toxic Avenger is a film I have never seen before. So next week's episode is going to be like the first edition of that kind of portion. We'll see how often I do that. Um, but yeah, and then I'm planning to do a vlog at Juggalo, Ohio too. So if you see me, I might be filming. There's certain things I want to try to do and get prepared for the gathering. I think the gathering vlog this year for me is going to be very important. So Juggalo, Ohio, I'm gonna be a little testing ground. So that's on the docket for me and for the show. Humble next week. Juggalo Ohio 2 vlog coming up on deck. I'll be at Juggalo Ohio 2. So if you see me, say what's up, tell me whoop whoop, and if I'm filming, let's get on film together or take a picture together. I don't care. But I hope to see you guys there. Let's get to the review for Mickey 17. Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho. If you know his previous works, he Bong Joon-ho also did Snowpiercer and the 2019 Best International and Best Picture winner for Parasite. Now, when Bong Joon-ho is a director that when he makes a film, I'm definitely gonna take a look. And with Robert Pattinson, being in the starring role, I think Robert Pattinson has definitely shedded a new skin after Edwards, and actually is a great actor to watch. The things I have seen him in post Twilight show this man that really cares about the craft. And here's a film where he's gonna be playing off himself. So let's see if let's start the review and see if Mickey 17 gets a whoops up, a whoops down, or a whoops sideways. Okay, let's go to the next thing. So like I said, Bong Joon-ho written and directed this film, but it was based on a book called Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. That's why the writer's there. So it stars Robert Pattinson, Stephen Yeun, Michael Moore. Uh, then you have Mark Ruffalo as Kenneth Marshall. And you have Naomi Aka as Nasha, very important. Stephen Yu as Timo, another important character here. It's not listed in the credits. I don't see her, but it's Marshall's wife right there. Is the other starring role. So basically, this new film is sci-fi, like a sci-fi fantasy, but very a dark comedy. In some senses, this movie is really funny. But the description IMDb is Mickey 17 is known as an expendable, goes on a dangerous journey to colonize an ice planet. So yes, this film is kind of like a mature, I guess, not mature. There's a lot of feel of Star Wars. Like Bong Joon-ho, you took a lot of the feels of what a Star Wars film does, especially in making things feel like futuristic but rustic at the same time. Um, some like, I mean, you look at this where Mickey's wearing, it looks like stuff from Hoth. The ice planet feels like Hoth, but it's a film that stays in line with what science fiction does can offer. um it is political in some senses. It speaks on a lot about imperialism, colonialism, sex, the rich, class issues, like from rich and poor. human rights and how we view people, like how we treat people in certain systems, and fascism as well. I think there's a lot of themes in here in a film that's had a lot going on in it. There's a lot of plot into it. That even there's even a subplot about, sex, and like, because they're going on this journey to colonize a planet. Earth has been fucked, and a billionaire ex-politician, Kenneth Marshall is putting a crew together to go to an ice planet to recolonize, okay, and inhabit it there. So where Mickey comes in here is that, in this world, they created a technology that allowed humans to, you could die and have your body reprinted and put your conscious back into that body. They figured out a way to print human beings, basically. Um, and so Mickey signs up for this role as expendable, as a way of being a human test rat. Basically, as they're going through this ice planet, Mickey's going through all these things to make sure that it's good for humans. And if he dies, they can just reprint him and start over again. But he's not allowed to have, one body at a time. There's no supposed to be, not two. Um, I, you know, I would say I really enjoyed the film a lot, and I think it's a film that, that stay like I said before, stays in that, really, that science fiction lane a lot. And if, like, stuff like Brazil, 1984, like, just like stuff like that. But like, because of Mickey 17 can die multiple times, there's like a humor to it, in a deep sadness, because, like, when Mickey goes around, people, know that he's expendable, he's the only one, and they constantly, there's a runner where he's like getting asked, um, "Hey Mickey, what's it like dying?" And you can just tell that Mickey doesn't, it's part of his job, like he has to die for the better of humans. Um, but it's a very interesting thing. And then what happens is like Mickey, they go to the ice planet, and Mickey actually gets lost, and they actually print him another one. So now there's a Mickey 18. So at some point in the film, Robert Pattinson's playing, you know, two versions of himself, and the way he does that version is pretty interesting, because you could tell the characters apart. Like, when I didn't see Robert Pattinson in this, like, film, I saw Mickey. Like, I bought full line sticker that this was a strong performance by Robert Pattinson in here. So I'm going to show you a clip here, just kind of give you a feel here. See, like even like this feels very Star Wars s. As this is Mark Ruffalo's Kenneth Marshall. I mean, that looks like a red lightsaber. Look at that. Like, it taking a lot from a Star Wars and aesthetics, but doing something a little different than his own, and kind of have a Snowpiercer effect in there, because there's a class issue with, with Snowpiercer about a train in an icy future, segregated by, wealth. It's kind of like this going on here too. Like, there's a lot of Snowpiercer in here that makes me really enjoy this film a lot. Um, so Kenneth Marshall, people who I've talked to about the film, have found that Mark Ruffalo's Kenneth Marshall as annoying. To me, I think Mark Ruffalo's Kenneth Marshall um, is kind of honing in on the billionaire strongman who are actually very weak and maybe sexually impotent a little bit. He kind of has a Elon Musk feel to him, like a Donald Trump, something like that, that's out of touch, who wants to appear strong, and really, like, and these are the people, these billionaires like a Zuckerberg, and like Elon Musk and stuff, that they want to go to space. They don't want to save the Earth. They want to start over again and put it in their image. And there is a secret, like, religious background that this is that Kenneth is part of, as being a part of, but I feel like he's being manipulated by the church, which has a lot of like Nazi feels to it, like. controlling who gets to birth and stuff like that, like the direct line and dictating what that is. There's a lot of stuff in this movie. Um, there is Nasha right here. This is a woman that kind of falls in love with Mickey and kind of keeps Mickey being more than a human, because everybody else sees like Mickey as a person that, always, oh yeah, he's dead and he's gonna die and stuff like that. Who cares? It's Nanja who treats Mickey like a human. Like when Mickey's doing all these test lab things and he's dying slowly by poisonous gas, Nanja's there to, comfort him through the hardest times. Like, and her character is very interesting and how she treats, like, even with both Mickeys. So right here, this is Mickey 17 and this is Mickey 18. Spoiler alert. But just the performances from, Robert Pattinson, really, you tell the difference between the two. Kenneth Marshall's wife is kind of the um just the reach elite. They think they can just take what they want and they go to this planet and meet this alien race, and they automatically view them as the enemy, want to eat them, and all this other stuff. Like, there's a lot here. I love Bong Joon-ho's directing style. There's the guy who's part of uh the religion. I'll play some stuff from the trailer here, but I think it's a film that's definitely worth your time. I think it does enough with the sci-fi, and because it's the familiarity with the Star Wars, a lot of Star Wars and other science fiction that you can, like an Alien and all these other stuff. Like Bong Joon-ho is using these science fiction vibes, aesthetics to get you onto this journey where you kind of think about how colonialism is has always been like this, when we're discovering a new world, from, when like Christopher Columbus and all these explorers sailed around the world with the crew. It was kind of like this, how everything was segregated. You have people who below them, and then they're treated like dirt slaves, and all these other things. And you're kind of seeing what that will look like in space. So it's like telling a new tale, but it's honestly speaking about things that humans do when discovering beyond our boundaries, kind of thing, and how inhumane we treat others. But yeah, that is kind of my thoughts here about Mickey 17. I think it does what any good sci-fi does. Um, be a lot about the science, especially when it comes to, the printing of, new humans and the consciousness, and the fact that it kind of has like more of a like there's a lot of like politically that, like, this is in the future, but it's like it's speaking a lot of theme that's going on to today. Like, you can make links, like, these duplicates kind of thing. Feels like, you know stuff with gender and sexuality and how we view that. The ship gets very plays a lot with gender roles, a lot with Mickey being like a sub to Naja's dom kind of thing. Like, that relationship is very interesting, especially there's a lot of sexual relationships going on in this movie that's very interesting, that I haven't really seen in film very often. And especially since we're in the future, these kind of dynamics happen a lot too. So I'm happy that Bong Joon-ho goes, that way too. That could be part of the book as well. um, Kind of, these are the scientists that kind of feel like more like Alien. There's the machine that will basically print out a new body of Mickey. But this is an interesting film. But let's go to the next part, and see if what the rating is. But I think right now in this film, as like, do I have a really an issue with the film? Honestly, I don't. Maybe this is a rated R film too, so it's like this film pushes it, and I think there's gonna be moments that are gonna be shocking to you that they went there. And there's an alien creature that's very cute. A lot of Bong Joon-ho's like style is in this film. So if you've seen Snowpiercer or a Parasite, I think you will really enjoy this film. But we'll talk more about that in the closing segment, when we finally grade the film. But that is Mickey 17 from my standpoint. Let's get to over the next section and see what the rating is. Thanks, guys. All right. In conclusion, I think Mickey 17 is a fun, fun, interesting ride that offers a lot of um, a lot of I would say it's a while where it's a film that's aimed for adults that ain't like that does adult things. With a lot of PG-13 films, it kind of feels vanilla because they're trying to appeal for everybody. I think when Bong Joon-ho kind of going towards the horrors of what having the technology of endless death and using people as human rats and stuff like that, that we could lose our humanity, and the way we play God and everything else. I think it's definitely worth your time. I think Robert Pattinson does a really good job here in creating a good character in Mickey, and playing frail and scared and all that. And then when he's Mickey 18, he's a whole different personality, and they're playing off each other very well, where does feel like two people. And I think, Robert Pattinson is an actor to watch, especially the projects he picks now. And then Mark Ruffalo, man, last year his Poor Things, his acting in Poor Things, I thought deserved Best Supporting Actor, with how goofy and crazy and funny that was. And then to watch him in Bong Joon Ho's in this film too, being on 11 and kind of giving me uh, the dumb, not just a rich person that doesn't understand what they're doing, and just trying. They're probably the one of the weakest men, but what they do to appear small, to appear strong, I think it's annoying on purpose. Um, and I think what happens to him in the film is very satisfying. So Mickey 17, you get a whoops up from me. I know a lot, I haven't really seen any bad films this year. I think, we're starting the year pretty good. When I thought about the Oscar nomination, I realized maybe how bad last year was, and maybe that this year the films can be a lot better. But definitely, I think Mickey 17. If you like sci-fi, you enjoyed the director's previous work, like Snowpiercer and Parasite. I don't see why you couldn't have a good time with this. I think a film to even see in theaters, but if you want to wait into home video, that's fine. I think it's a movie that you need to see this year. Sometimes when movies comes out in March, they kind of get lost. But it was shown that Doom 2 um, can make a run for the Oscars. And do I think this movie's Oscar nominated? It's hard to tell right now with not seeing what the rest of the year brings like. But this is still worth your time. Um, yeah. All right, so that's the review for Mickey 17. Next week, I do my first ever movie interview with Humble Among, where we're going to be reviewing Toxic Avenger, the OG. Let me tell you, that's going to be a great episode because I got some questions about, after watching that film. I'm hoping that Humble can walk me through what I just saw. And then the week of Juggle Ohio 2, I might be checking out that new Looney Tunes film, or I might be checking out another older film um around that time. Um, who knows? I wouldn't guarantee a schedule when it comes to me, but just know that a lot of fun stuff is happening. I'm doing a vlog at Juggle Ohio 2. I'll see you anybody at Juggle Ohio 2. Thanks for watching. Whoop whoop. Much clown motherfucking love.